I care that my art communicates, I really do. I really like to hear that my work has communicated something about my experience or inspired something or got someone to reflect on their life or their experience. My name is Alison Williams and I'm from, at present I live in Goffstown, New Hampshire. I'm from New Zealand and I'm a mixed media artist and at present the chairperson of the painting department at the New Hampshire Institute of Art. My parents, I think my mother, or my father too, they always just supported making art, and I think recognised really early on that that's what I love to do, and so supported me in that and encouraged me in that. I love to paint, but mixed media always felt like I like to make things, so it's just an opportunity to keep making, I think. And I always feel like there's not ever one way of describing my experience with the world, and so I would paint it or make a print out of it and then feel sort of dissatisfied, like it wasn't enough, and so then I would have to build something that explained it, and then I just kept going and that kind of just making and making and making things. My process right now is very connected to the garden. You know, I'm exploring the boundary, breaking down the boundary between art and gardening. So a lot of my work, I would draw and photograph in the garden, just trying to capture a representation of what I see. At one point I was so frustrated with everything that I had been doing. It was the middle of the winter and I dug a huge hole in the snow and like buried everything that I had, and that was the first time that I started engaging the garden in the art making process itself. Instead of me being outside of it and trying to capture it, was sort of using the garden to impress itself on my work in some way. So a lot of my work goes backwards and forwards in and out of the garden, so it gets buried in the garden or dug up from the garden. Some of the garden gets sandwiched, plants get sandwiched in between things. I boil flowers down to make inks and to paint with. The New Hampshire Institute of Art has been talking about having a master's program for quite a long time, and we've looked at various models. You know, do we buy some more buildings in which to have a traditional master's program that runs alongside our BFA program? Do we offer it in, you know, visual arts or painting or photography, or what are we going to offer? Since conversation started with the Sharon Arts Centre, we really started thinking about a low residency MFA program, and that's the type of MFA program that I went through. My feeling about that and what we've come to as an organisation is that in life right now, it's really the most successful type of MFA program that you can offer people, mainly because people get to make art within their context of their life but still be supported. Peterborough is so connected with the arts, there's a long history of connection with the arts, and so our hope is that people will come here for these low residency 10-day experiences and just be immersed in critique and discussion about their own work, really exploring and expanding their own ideas and concepts, all supported by faculty and mentors. But I think the experience of making art in your own location, in your own community, is really a good one, because that's where you're going to end up eventually. And to have these two things separated, to go off to a school for 2 years and then come out at the other end and be like, oh, now what do I do, is not as real as learning how to create a really great working practice in your life. Art is communication, I think, mostly. I mean, it's many, many things, but when I've been thinking about it over the last few years as I teach and talk to students, I really believe that art is about communication. It's about communication with yourself. We're not always sure what we're starting to make, or And so it's an exploration and a communication with something quite deep inside you. And then it's a communication with you and the viewer. What do you hope to communicate about your experience, about your life? And then it's communication from the viewer back to you. What do they see and what do they understand?